Welcome to today's Zaleski Sports Show. Jason Zaleski, Dan Ross. On today's show, we've got brackets, basketball playoff brackets available right now at Zaleski Sports. We'll talk to you about our weekly schedule and some upcoming football changes.
It's all yours, and it's all now.
All right, bada bing, bada boom. We're here. We got some Mardi Gras going on here.
Is it Mardi Gras?
I think I see what's going on. We're gonna have to pay attention to this, Dan.
Yeah, the color. It's very purple and gold on here, but not on the screen.
Yeah, and the other thing too, I've just noticed. We'll see how long we're on air, but I think I was having some troubles before. I think what is this made of? Plastic, but there may be some aluminum in there. I think it's interfering with the camera signal. So if you lose us, goodbye. We'll see you next week. I wouldn't touch it, Dan. I just leave it. Yeah, in my experience.
I was gonna just tear it down.
Just get rid of it. I went to my very first ever Mardi Gras parade on Saturday last week, and before you even begin to think what you're thinking, it was a family-oriented Mardi Gras parade. There were beads and the things, but it was a family-style parade. I'd never been to one before. I'm not French. I'm Polish. I'm not French, so I hadn't partaken in that kind of thing. But it was a good time, and this was I brought home some of the stuff from Mardi Gras.
Well, you know what? Every good deed goes unfulfilled, or you get punished for it, and this is it.
Yeah.
Trouble with technology.
Trouble. Yeah, I know, right? You're trying to do a nice thing and fancy things up around here. Laissez-la, bon temps, roulette. Let's let the good times roll.
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, a lot of people don't understand that this is a technology company in a lot of ways.
In almost every way.
Yeah. And the product that everybody sees is a pretty good product,
Thank
right?
you.
And it looks like everything rolls smoothly. And man, two nights ago, I was in Rapids at Assumption where there's, I don't know, 10 things a week or something going on over there, right?
Yeah.
And it's absolute chaos leading up to it. And it happens more than people think, where there's panic, there's phone calls, like, I don't know what's going on, my computer says I have to restart, and all these things happen. And then it's showtime, and like people just like, oh, these guys really have their stuff together.
I've been laughing this whole time.
Yeah.
I gave a... We're going to talk about sports here eventually. I mean, this is about sports, right? But I gave a presentation earlier today over in the Fox Valley, and I told the folks, the first year and a half, we screwed it up more than we got it right. The first year and a half. I'm talking back in 2017, 2018. We bombed often, and we don't want to. It does happen. It's live broadcast.
Yeah, I had a boys basketball game, DC Everest at Wausau West. It never happened because we were missing a cord or something.
Just one cord, right?
Yeah.
Of all the 50, just one.
Yeah.
But every one is just as important as the other 49, as you and your producer. Well, it doesn't matter. We've all done it.
And it was a great game. And I wish everybody could have seen it. It was a really good game.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, well let's talk about where you were last night. You were in Marathon. I saw you had your winter hat on. You must have been cold inside the gym in Marathon.
Yeah, a little cold, a little bit of fashion maybe.
Oh.
I mean, I got some gray hair coming out,
Yeah.
and Hannah actually said you should wear your hat down there tonight.
Hannah's giving fashion advice. All right.
Well, she's more fashion than I am.
For sure.
I would say. Yeah, so I was in Marathon for Assumption at Marathon Boys. Started with a technical foul, and a lot of times when these happen in pregame...
A scorebook malfunction?
Well, we had no idea.
Okay.
Right? And it's not like the scorebook is coming up to us and saying, hey, there's a technical foul, even though we're 6 rows behind them.
Yeah.
I saw a Newman player practicing free throws in the last 2 minutes of pregame shoot around, which I'm like how many free throws is this kid going to shoot tonight? But he shot 2 to start, and he made 1 out of 2. And it turns out that, and I asked Coach Jacobson afterwards. We found out at halftime.
Okay.
But I asked Coach
So
Jacobson.
Marathon shot the free throws.
Newman did.
Newman. So Marathon was in violation. Okay.
Yep. And Coach Jacobson said, yeah, the official said that one of my kids dunked the ball. And I said, Coach, can anybody in your team dunk? He said, no. and he thought it was a joke, but I interviewed a kid afterwards, and he's like, yeah, I put one down in warm-ups.
That's a pretty tough call to take right away.
Yeah, and I don't think Logan Peters, if you're watching, I don't think he knew it was against the rules.
I don't know that anybody would think it's against the rules.
Well, it's the only level where you can't dunk in warm-ups. In college, you can dunk.
Yeah.
The pros, you definitely can.
Yeah, usually it's you wrote the wrong number in the scorebook, or you put somebody in the wrong number. You flip two guys around, or somebody spilled something on his shirt and had to put on a different number and came out and didn't tell you.
Yeah.
Usually that's what it is.
Yeah, I thought it was the scorebook thing, but that's
Yeah.
the home book. Like it's probably not going to happen. And it really depends on the state too, because when we went to that border battle, they had the high school kids dunking off the walls and stuff.
They were putting on a show.
Yeah, well, why not? Right?
So it's a strange rule. Get rid of it.
It is a strange.
Get rid of it. Let the kids have fun. Let them have fun.
Yeah.
You know.
No
Get
fun
off of
league.
my lawn. That's what that rule is.
Newman got up 8-0.
I saw that.
And we were, and I was a little bit shocked.
Mm-hmm.
And Marathon hadn't played for a week, and that was a tough loss a week ago. And they came out flat, but they got rolling.
I was, well, thank you for the recap of that
Yeah.
game. Yeah. So Marathon trudges on. Newman continues a challenging season.
Yeah, and one other thing I want to say about it is in the post game, put two kids in the house.
You like having a few. All right.
Well,
I mean, why not? But
Truthers was the player of the game.
Okay.
Right? I got talked into Logan Peters
Okay.
because someone wanted to ask him to the Winter Carnival dance.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
Right?
right. Yes.
So
I
I'm like,
remember now.
I can talk to him about the technical foul. He had a pretty good game, and he's been playing really well as of late.
Okay.
Marathon has a group of sensational sophomores,
All right.
right? And a bunch of good juniors. That is a really good team next year and the year after. They don't lose anybody. next
FYI.
year. Yeah, heard it here first. But yeah, we had two ladies on the air ask boys to the winter dance at Marathon. Both thankfully said yes, and a lot of kids holding up signs, and the entire gym got quiet for when the girl asked True to the dance. Yeah, we like to have fun.
You know, it's funny, Dan. You and I did that game over a Marathon 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, whatever. Time flies.
Mosinee, yeah.
Mosinee, and I had asked during that broadcast if they did a Sadie Hawkins dance, because that is a dance
And
where
they said
traditionally
no.
they just said no,
Yeah.
because that's where the girl asks the boy. But here
Yeah.
you had a Sadie Hawkins-esque moment last night.
Yeah, they all had signs, and obviously, and I asked the girl in the air, did you know he was going to say yes? And she said, no, but I was hoping he was going to say yes.
That's nerve-wracking, isn't it?
Yeah, and we have asked the ultimate question to our wives, right? At one time, probably on a knee.
Can I sleep here tonight?
Probably on a knee.
Do you have any food?
And like, I'm not asking that question unless it's like a 99% chance.
I would say.
Right? That's a big matzo ball,
Yeah.
George.
Yes.
Big matzo ball.
Yes.
And you know what? A lot of credit to 16, 17-year-old girls asking in front of tens of people. Or more. I
There
have
was
no
an
idea.
audience.
Yeah.
There was an audience.
Yeah, and forever on YouTube.
It is out there forever. Yeah, you kind of wonder about that. Less pressure for a girl, because I don't know many guys that are just going to say no.
No,
You know?
I don't think so.
A lot of girls will say no, though.
Especially not live. They just, yeah.
Well, good. Well, guys, take good care of those girls.
High school romance.
High school puppy love, they say, right?
That's right.
I was in Auburndale last night by way of Columbus Catholic. I screwed up my schedule last night, so I
Well,
landed.
it's good that you're in Wisconsin again.
I am in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I arrived, I think we crossed the border yesterday around noon, and back for a while. Not too long, but for a while. And anyway, I got to see something really cool. We'll put this up on the screen here. Assumptions,
JT.
JT Schlafer came in needing 19, and we thought, oh boy, against Auburndale and a stiff defense like that. I talked to Coach Weinfurter before the game, and I said, give me the 10-second scouting report on the Assumption Royals, and he pointed out at JT Schlafer in the warm-ups. He said, that's it.
Yeah.
We got to control that guy, and I think we'll be okay. And at halftime, the JT had 9, and it's like, well, he's kind of halfway there, but logic said, and you saw JT on Monday in the Assumption Lions, as I like to call them, play, and it was like he may need a third game to get to 1,000. The game against Adams, the game against Auburndale, and then Athens. On Friday. But JT had a great second half, and then he actually went over 1,000 points. You said you started your game with a technical free throw. We had JT hit 1,000 on a technical free throw.
Nice. What was the technical called for?
There was some jawing going on after a made basket, and there were actually 3 technicals in the game, all on the players, none on Coach Paltz this time, which is a relief, I think, for everybody involved. And I did talk to Coach, and I reprimanded him by not coming to see you on Monday night after the game. So he did get a firm reprimand from me. He told me that. He said, well, there's no cell coverage in the basement at Assumption. That was his excuse. So anyway, congratulations, JT, 1,000 points. Got a real chance next year at breaking the all-time school record, currently held by girls basketball coach Ryan Klein. JT is going to need, as the way this season goes, somewhere around probably 320, 350. Yeah, right, to break the school mark. So,
if 15 a game gets in.
Yeah. So congrats, JT, on 1,000 and growing up at Athens on Friday. I'm sure you'll have stuff on the Merriwood Minute. Maybe.
No,
okay.
but what I would say is that, and we don't say this about every kid, although it is applicable a lot of times, is that JT is maybe a better person than he even is a basketball player.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to JT last night, and he actually left. He left the game, and the game is no longer in doubt. But he had some cramping in his leg, which looked horribly painful. I remember the last time I cramped, and it's not good.
No. And the older you get, the worse it feels, I think.
Well, the worse it feels, and it happens for almost no reason the older you get.
Sleeping? Yeah.
That's it. Just sleeping. And 4 in, you rocket out of bed holding your calf muscle. The other game that I saw while I was traveling back from the Gulf of America, as it's now known, as what I'm told, was Monday night. Assumption, the Lions were over at Neillsville. Girls basketball.
That's a great game.
It was a great game. It was a 1-point win for the Lions on Monday night. It was number 1 Division 5, number 1 Division 4, and in a late, I guess it was early February. You can't ask for much more, and it lived up to every ounce of the number 1 versus number 1.
Schooley, big 3, with 8 seconds left, 7 seconds, whatever it was, big 3. It was a design play, and Jordan Jaglinski took a couple defenders away, and she made a good pass to Anna, and she buried a 3.
She's all alone up there, right?
Yeah.
All alone, hit the shot.
Yep.
It may not be her number 1 skill, but she knocked it down for sure.
Yeah.
Neillsville, then later on, with an inbound with 4 seconds left, the Lions defense tightened up, didn't allow the Warriors to get a shot off in the final 4 seconds. It may have actually went down as a steal in the official statistician logs. Assumption 1-point win. Good win for the Lions.
Yeah, and I told the producer because we were watching. I was watching it from the court, waiting for a coach to come out to talk to me.
It never happened.
Never happened.
Yeah.
That coach never came out. Actually, the players took a different route.
Green
to the
Devils they left out of the executive tunnel under the school.
I must have. Yeah. With 4 seconds left in girls basketball.
Yeah.
Coaches, fans, just understand this. 4 seconds left. If you have a girl moving to her left off the dribble, probably not getting a shot off.
No.
Guarded, I mean, right?
Correct.
And that's exactly what Assumption did.
Yep.
Made her dribble
force
with her left
it to
hand.
her offhand.
And especially once you get to the left side of the court, you're shooting across your body. Mm-hmm. Guys can do it just because of upper body strength a little bit easier. But just in general, really good job defensively to not even enable a shot to get off.
Didn't even have a look at a shot.
No.
Yeah, there was never a shot in the making there. So congratulations, a non-conference win. Still, though, a one of those signature wins on the season.
Absolutely.
For
Yep.
Assumption. Neelsville back to the drawing board. They'll go back to their respective conferences, where Assumption will have a little bit more difficult time down the stretch, but not much. It doesn't look like anyway. So that's what we saw this week.
Yeah, 31 games in a row they've won in the conference. Assumption.
It's a remarkable streak.
Crazy.
Remarkable.
It'd be crazy for Neelsville.
Neelsville can't be far behind that, if not
Yeah.
even exceeding that right
Yeah.
now. I'd have to look through the game logs, but probably something near there.
Yeah, but the Merriwood South especially, because there's some good teams, good coaches in that conference. It has been quite a run.
Yeah, that's why. So I say Assumption a little bit more difficult finish, but both should cruise from here until a sectional final.
Maybe a
Just
sectional
say it.
semi, right?
Just say it.
Because you're gonna have a Pacelli waiting there.
All right, Dan, you drew me right to it. If this is where you want to go next.
Let's talk brackets.
So brackets. We've got our projections. We call them that next week on the girls' side. These, I suppose, we'll probably still title them projections because we can never be 100% sure. But you can be 100% sure as a VIP member that you'll know your first opponent right here at Zaleski Sports just in a week.
Yeah.
We'll tell you who they're going to be, but we have them by division right now. Click VIP at ZaleskiSports.com and you can see all of them. We don't have nearly enough time on the show to go through those brackets. There are 400 some odd teams.
There's a lot
in the WIA. So instead, we'll do like we always do. We'll go through the top 5 by division, and we'll start as we always do in Division 1. Pewaukee, Arrowhead, Kimberly, Waunakee, Muskego, and those that watch the show on a weekly basis. And I know people like Conman 3177 that watches the show every week. He wants to hear me talk about my Marshfield Tigers coming up. We'll see. But those are relatively unchanged week after week, the last few weeks anyway in Division 1.
Yeah, once you get halfway through the season, just the way that the math works, the seeds don't change a whole lot. So for those coaches who say, man, I think if we win on Friday, we're going to jump over somebody, maybe, but, they don't move much anymore.
Yeah, and I look at these top 5 in Division 1, that would be a miracle jump at this point, the way that the numbers I have availed themselves. Eau Claire Memorial is top 10. There they are, the 10-ranked team.
Projected number 1 seed in their sectional.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Well, right, so think about that. But as you look at these, the top 9 all in the southeastern part of the state. So the best non-southeastern team, Eau Claire Memorial. And so, headed towards number 1 seed.
It's going to be a very competitive sectional. Probably not a state champion in there, I would say. It'd be tough.
Well, if you got the top 9 in the southeastern part of the state,
yeah,
you're going to have to beat one of the top 9 teams in the land.
Yeah. And we're not there yet, but we are slowly crawling towards 8 teams in Division 1 going back.
Yeah, on both sides, boys and girls.
I am all for it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's watch them play. Spash comes in at number 20 this week.
There's actually talk about going 8 teams for all divisions and using 2 locations again.
I like the 2 locations part of it. That I'm a fan of.
Which would be really interesting to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had it in March of 2021. We had 2 locations, and I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, Lacrosse did a great job.
Yeah, I had fun there.
Lacrosse and Oshkosh, yeah.
In Division 2, Edgewood, Beaver Dam, Tosa East, Rice Lake, and Union Grove. That means that your Lakeland Thunderbirds would be a 2 seed.
They're a 2 seed.
With Rice Lake being the queen of that bracket.
Rice Lake is better.
They are good.
Yeah.
They are good.
Anything can happen in one game, though, I will say.
If you just had one more Wilmette on the Lakeland team. But that was 2 years ago, right?
2 years ago.
Yeah. All right.
Kristen is a finalist for Miss Basketball.
Well, she should be. She's a fantastic basketball player. I
It
enjoy
is.
watching her play.
It is very odd to have somebody in the northern half of the state be a finalist.
True. Mosney comes in at 18. Again, these are teams that I call out that regularly appear on our network with some great frequency. In Division 3, Kettle Moraine Lutheran, Laconia, Elk Mound, Wittenberg Burnhamwood, and Oostburg. Wittenberg Burnhamwood, a win over Pacelli on Monday night.
Yeah, look at that, 741 for KML.
Huge score,
Yeah,
741.
really big.
Huge. That's one of the biggest we've ever seen. And you compare that to the 82nd ranked team in Division 1, or Division 2. Quite a jump there.
The Lumberjills struggling this year.
They are, and we knew that coming in.
Yep.
We knew that. I think they're having a good time, though. You get to see them on All Access, episode just out on Monday. The girls are having a great time, so that's good to see. The future is bright at Wausau East, it looks like. Okay, and let's move to Division 4, right? That was Division 3? Yep. So Division 4, we talked about Neilsville already, the number one. And they are the number one in Division 4. St. Mary Catholic, the Prairie School, Manitowoc Lutheran, Aquinas. That has remained largely unchanged over the last couple of weeks. Auburndale comes in at number 7. You and I were talking, too, offline. It looks like Neilsville and Aquinas in a sectional semifinal coming up on the girls' side. So, I always, especially when we get past regionals, I look at the coach matchups. I think the coach matchup there would be even if that game were to happen, and then it's up to the girls to come out and play.
Yeah, and as far as Auburndale is concerned, they have a good chance to make a run. Hopefully, they can get some girls back healthy. I know there's some injuries.
The injury bug has hit in Auburndale in an unfavorable way if you're an Eagles fan.
And we hate to see anybody get hurt at all, right? And it hurts especially, really hurts, when it's the girls that are kind of like the center of the team and everyone rallies around them, right? Unfortunate situation, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed,
yeah. I said if you're an Eagles fan, I am a fan of the Eagles mascot. I think that's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that Eagle's more spry than other times. Maybe it depends on the weather.
Depends on the weather, right? How much fish it's been able to catch recently. And the energy and that kind of thing. Stratford is 19 in Division 4, so pretty good mark. Stratford's been hovering around that mark for the most part of the season. In Division 5, we mentioned the Assumption Lions, a 724 seed score. That's been about what they've been hanging around that 720 mark for all of the rankings, really.
And should jump a little bit with the Neilsville win.
Yep, they do. Yeah, good point, Dan. These are through games completed Saturday at midnight, so not including Monday's game. The Space Ponies do come up to number 2. Lord's Academy 3, Lena 4, Sheboygan Lutheran is 5. Albany Monticello, if I didn't say that. I just say Space Ponies. I assume everybody knows, but maybe they don't. So I should say that. Again, you can see the rank of any team you want in any division in its entirety at ZaleskiSports.com. Click VIP. For the first time ever, we have the top 4 seeds by section in boys basketball. Also, Dan, they are getting their $5 worth right now.
Hey, I tell people all the time on my broadcasts that if you don't have a whole lot of money to spare, but you do want to spend $5 to see this is the time to do it, because in a month, brackets will all be out. Yeah,
so if you want to get ahead of it all right now, do it. And if you quit us in a month, I'll still be your friend, I guess. I'll be okay.
I'm actually logging in to check the seed projections.
All right, go ahead. While Dan's looking at that, I'll go through top 5 by division. In Division 1, no surprise here, Wisconsin Lutheran remains number 1. De Pere number 2, Kettle Moraine 3, West Dallas Central 4, and Waunakee 5. Conman asked about Marshfield. They do come in at number 10 this week. They beat Wausau East last week, so they got a little bump from that. Wausau East, an above 500 basketball team with some quality wins. Marshfield as well.
I don't want to ruin it, but they're probably this right now.
They are a 2 seed, no doubt. I think that could last, although Eau Claire
Memorial's right behind them.
I know it.
Yeah.
And they're
real close.
Close enough that
head-to-head matters.
If they had played head-to-head, and I don't think they did this year, so we might be able to avoid that. But in the same section, Marshfield and Eau Claire Memorial. So it's an interesting battle there. Yeah, 605 seed score, 604. So Marshfield could drop to an 11, which would drop them to a 3 seed in that particular case. Conman asked about my Tigers. Here's the deal, and this goes for any. We said this last week, last week I was on the beach.
On the beach last week, yeah.
I have some real doubts about any Wisconsin Valley Conference team that is Division I come postseason time. I think that they have a real knack for attempting to score 50 points. Or something within a few points of 50, and that is a recipe to get bounced in the first round. It just is. And you've got to find a way. I think this is my opinion, right? And Conman asked for it, and I'm happy to give it. I gave it, though, already last week. So I'll say it again. And now for the third time, twice in the last 30 seconds. You get to the playoffs, you got to start scoring 70 points. 50 is just not going to cut it. And these Valley teams, and it goes for all of them, the Division I Valley teams, so Wausau East excluded, plus East knows they can score 70, 75, and especially in their Division II bracket. But the rest of them, if you're going to score 50, you're going to play one playoff game. Simple as that. Disagreed?
No, not at all. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Girls' side, I think we have a couple of teams that can make it to state. On the boys' side, is our best chance Wausau East?
Teams, schools that we regularly cover?
Yeah.
Kaukauna could be.
Maybe Memorial.
I favor Kaukauna.
Yeah.
Kaukauna is the one seed in that bracket. Kaukana's got something I like. A couple things actually, but one thing in particular.
A horse.
They've got they've got Shiloh the horse, which is a huge bonus for just in that right there. Shiloh the horse. I wonder though if they'll let Shiloh in the gym. They've got a real pure talented big. And then they've got a wing that scores in bunches. Both are Division I basketball commits. And that goes a long way come tournament time. Goes a long way. And plus, they love scoring 70, 80 points a game. Huge bonus there.
Yeah. And having a big opens up the shooters as well, right? So, and when things aren't going well, throw it down to the big. Let them get to work.
They've got options, right? And you've got that. They run a little more traditional style offense, sometimes a high-low. Some of the other teams, we see so much 4 and 5 out that we don't have any positions anymore. And it's a successful offensive style. It's not that. But this is different in the way that you can. If one thing is faltering, you've got this other thing you can go to. Steve tells us Eau Claire, Memorial, and Marshfield play the day before brackets come out.
Hey!
Whoa!
I like that.
Yeah, so we could have our first instance of a tiebreaker being applied in head-to-head competition.
Yeah, the winner of that
game
this year probably will get the nod.
Yeah, now that you've said that and I've let that settle in, I'm going to strike my comments from the record. I think they allow that here. Strike them from the record.
Why not?
Right, we wouldn't need to break the tie because the winner there would assume would jump enough in that seed score.
They are close enough where the head-to-head would come in, which is a new item this year. Yeah.
Okay, Nina comes in at 21 in Division 1. Wausau West, 23. I've been told there's been a devastating injury to the Wausau West Warriors boys basketball team, though. So, hopefully it's not true, what I've been told, but that's all I know so far. And then Spash comes in at 31. So, and again, these teams just aren't scoring enough points, and they are just sliding and sliding.
And Everest at 42. Yeah. I mean, there's not much difference in those teams. Everest, West, Spash.
And Spash, not really.
Wausau East is not in this division, but those 4 teams, they play each other twice a year. You can go to any of those games against those 4 teams. It'll be a good game.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun game.
Yeah. Division II, Racine Park, Mount Horeb, Slinger, Nicolay, and Waterford. I'll talk about a couple of those teams coming up towards the end of the show. Wausau East checks in right below at number 6, so I think you'll tell me that they are the 1 seed in their group. I'm sure they are. Yep. Yeah, with that type of score. And Mosinee is 13. The Hodags come in at 16 in this week's rankings. And
I think that's pretty much their region, or their
that's regional. The East set up there. Okay, well they're in pretty good shape then, I think. So
they're going to be strong favorites to get to the sectional final, I would say.
Good chance. Yeah, they were ousted last year by River Falls, and River Falls comes in at 23rd right now in these rankings, so they'll be down the list a little bit. River Falls would be the 3 seed in that group.
You have Onalaska over there.
If the season ended today.
And that's weird.
Say that.
Mosinee is going out west.
That's a good place for them.
Is it?
Head west, young man. That's what they said.
Wausau East, Rhinelander, River. This has to be wrong because Mosinee, maybe River Falls and Mosinee are switched on this. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know either.
We'll have to fact check something.
Just read what's written in front of me. Got to see the Milwaukee Academy of Scientists play on Saturday. It was the Illinois-Wisconsin border battle that night. And the Illinois team pushed the Scientists to overtime. To overtime win for the Scientists.
They're fun to watch.
They were very fun to watch.
Yeah. The other border battle's canceled.
Why?
Snow on Saturday.
Boo.
This
is Minnesota and Wisconsin. We play in snow. What are we talking about?
I have no idea how much snow there's supposed to be.
What are we talking about?
Maybe some of those teams have to travel a long way.
It snows in this state.
I don't know. But I saw that today. Mark Miller posted it.
That'd be like where I just was, and the game was canceled because of sunshine. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It snows here. We live in the snow. There's snow everywhere. It makes no sense.
You were in Alabama, and school was not canceled for the snow that we got a couple of days ago. I was proud. I was proud of the schools. Monday.
Well, thankfully.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we live in snow, people. All right. Well. Okay. Let's move on to Division 4 before I say something I would regret. Bonduelle, the Bears, come in at number 1 overall. And Ron Colley, number 2. Are we going to that game?
Yeah.
Okay. Mark it down. Steve's listening. Put us down for Wednesday the 19th at Bonduelle. Ron Colley Jets and the Bonduelle Bears, 1 versus 2 in Division 4. Yeah. There's just one loss between the two of them, I think.
Bonduelle's not that far of a trip.
Not for you.
No.
I'll pick you up on the way.
Right down 29.
We'll talk about it later. Mineral Point, Aquinas, and Southern Door. Mr. Doust over there at Southern Door, now number 2 all-time scoring in the state of Wisconsin. Climbing up the list. He's chasing Anthony Pieper. I'm not sure if he can get there. Yeah. But chasing, we can say that right now. Auburndale comes in at number 8. Stratford right behind at 9.
Yeah, that gap is closing,
Yeah,
too.
It sure is, isn't it?
And unfortunately, Stratford, Auburndale take 2 is after the brackets are out.
Yeah, it is, and their schedules essentially mirror each other until then, so what that means is really no chance for Stratford to catch.
Yeah, Auburndale plays both Stratford and Marathon after the brackets are out.
Who made that schedule?
I don't know.
Iola Scandinavia, they come in at 25.
Dangerous 25.
Poor T-Birds, though. On the 23rd, they got buzzer beat by Bonduelle. And then on the 28th, 5 days later, they got buzzer beat by Pacelli. I mean, that's rough in 5 days.
Yeah.
To have your heart ripped out twice in 5 days. In 1 week. It was one calendar week. That's rough, man. That's a rough stretch.
Yeah, a lot of people ask, because Bonduelle's really good, can anybody get them? And in the playoffs, it's going to be really tough. Yeah. But we passed Division 3, but the Chargers over at Wittenberg.
I apologize.
I think so. Or maybe we just didn't talk about it.
No, we just didn't talk about it.
Yeah, the Chargers have Bonduelle coming to town soon.
Wittenberg-Burnhamwood, number 4. Yeah. I think maybe I didn't. In Division 3, Milwaukee Academy of Science, Lake Mills, Freedom, Wittenberg, Burnhamwood, Racine, St. Catharines. I think I just started talking about the Scientists and then just moved on.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm so excited about the Scientists.
I didn't realize that you skipped it. I just didn't hear them.
No, I didn't. Now that I've said it. It's just they get me so, all the neutrons and electrons, they're just so exciting in that school. I know it.
Just buzzing.
Just buzzing.
Vibrating.
They're buzzing. Yeah. They get a little, just make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. The electrons do.
It's true.
Yeah, I know. I'm being literal. Division 5, Sheboygan Lutheran, Royal, Potosi, Cochrane, Fountain City, Southwestern, Loyal in Division 5, not in that top 5 anymore. Columbus Catholic, not up. Some of these other ones no longer there. Pacelli, creeping up from behind at number 7. They are pretty comfortable number 1 seed in their group, I think. Allman Bancroft is going to be behind them as the 2. I have it right?
Yep.
This just comes pouring out of my head, folks. I don't know how. I don't know how it gets in there, and then I forget how it's coming out.
But Pacelli has Sheboygan Lutheran at sectionals. Like that's a
tough one, right?
That's a long trip.
It could be.
Yeah.
If it works out that way.
What's interesting here is that the seed scores are much lower in Division 5 than all the other divisions, and a lot of that's because these teams take losses, right? Because you're playing up in a lot of these conferences. Yeah. But it also means that it's kind of a wide open division.
Well, there's been some things that have happened. Loyal, as an example, a prior number 1 had just ended its 4-game losing streak.
Yeah.
So things like that this year have been kind of pervasive in Division 5. Loyal, as I said, let's take a break here with that, beat Neillsville in conference play, Neillsville Division 4 team. Loyal, it took overtime for the Hounds to get past the Warriors, and it was a free throw. It was a double bonus. Whoever was shooting, and I don't have the name here in front of me, missed the front end of it. And then another miss would have been double overtime, and the ball, Dan, barely tipped over the front of the rim and went in. And so Loyal with a 1-point win to break their cold snap. Was a former number one. They come in this week at 16. Almond Bancroft 14, Columbus Catholic 18, Owen Withy 19. They played last night in Owen Withy. I thought the game was in Marshfield. There's a different story about that. So I ended up going to Auburndale last night. Owen Withy held serve at home. They do play at Columbus Catholic yet later this year, so I'll have to go back to the gym
Those
later
teams
on.
seem very, very even.
Yeah, and it was
Evenly
a few points, at least what with 30 seconds left before the free throws and everything. It was just a couple points. So Columbus Catholic will likely drop a little bit by next week. Owen Withy will climb just a bit, and then Rib Lake comes in at 27.
Yeah,
It's the best Northern Merriwood team, right?
they are going to win the conference. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. And again, seed projections of the top 4 teams by section at ZaleskiSports.com. Girls basketball brackets for all brackets, right? What are there? 24 of them? Do I know math today? 5, 20, a couple extra in Division 1, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're all available right now. You just click VIP. If you're not already a member, it's $5. Thank you for subscribing.
Yeah, there's 8, 32, 36.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew I was probably wrong. But I'm almost out of gas
Math.
here today. I'm almost out of gas today, man. Okay, so I think we're living up to our promises. We'll go through the schedule, but for now, Dan, we're going to go to some football changes. They were just announced
it's a big
yesterday.
Day. Announced yesterday, voted in today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, I am ready.
You need my help here, or you know what you've got going on there?
Yeah, I can look.
Well,
over
here. All right, here we go. Dan Ross, football changes.
All right. Yeah, look, we got slides today. Pretty crazy.
Settle in, folks. Get your popcorn and Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
We got the slideshow for you.
Dim the lights a little
Yeah,
bit.
just a little, not too
Yeah,
much, in case you
yeah.
want to make some notes.
Yeah, you don't want to fall asleep during slides. So really big changes. And the reason why these changes came to be was there were errors made last year.
Obvious.
Yes. The WIAA actually had to go into the schools after the playoffs were over and say, we screwed up. Your kid should have played one more game in the tournament. And the reason why this happens is because it was very convoluted, right? The procedures of getting into the playoffs, there were 12 steps, 16 steps. People can interpret them a little bit differently. We had some voices in the room that said, well, that's how you're interpreting it this year, but that's different than these past years. Mm-hmm. And, it's 2 a.m. and they're just like, we're just going to go with this.
I'm sure that's what the talk was.
Yeah,
that's what the talk was in this office. Like, all right, we're moving on here. You said they went and talked to the 2 schools that were left out. The 2 schools that got in, did they go and demand a thank you from them?
No.
Okay. No. All right.
But I mean, sometimes it's hard to defend the WIAA, and I'm very neutral about them, right? Because they have a tough job.
Very.
They are trying to enforce the rules that the administrators vote on, right?
Okay. Well, let's talk about the new rules.
Yeah. So, 8-man football. A lot of positive change here. We have been clamoring for a 32-team tournament, which is the same as all the other divisions have.
Yep.
Last year, there were some 6-2 teams that were left out of the
really
playoffs.
good teams. Yeah.
Really good teams. 32 teams make it this year.
All right.
They start the season a week early, right? So they start the same week.
Same as everybody else.
Yep.
Because we're telling people this is the same. It's the same football. So it should be the same.
Yep. They still will only play 8 games because they do want their state championship to not coincide with the 11-man championship. Because it's not the same field, right? It's in Rapids.
Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of positives for 8-man. It's going to make it a little bit more prevalent, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, it'll allow us to bring extra attention to it, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, and we should have 4 playoff games for those champs instead of 3. It just feels that way, right?
Yep.
As far as enrollment's concerned, it's still 200 kids, which seems low to me. It's a 3-year average, right? And that might be different. I'm not sure. But you take the last 3 years, this year and probably the 2 years before that, You have to average under 200 to qualify for the playoffs.
So if you're 199, 201, 199, you're good.
in. Yeah.
You're good.
Then you're in.
Yeah.
Hopefully, in a perfect world, this is just Dan Ross talking out loud. Let's have 6 divisions for 11-man and 2 8-man divisions and figure it out.
Well, because we are perilously close to a 2-win football team being admitted to the playoffs in 11 player.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
we
true.
really are. Okay.
Yeah. So for 11-man, what they did was, you know what, we screwed up last year. We have some smart voices, football coaches here in the state of Wisconsin that got together and be like, let's just make it easy. Let's make it very transparent, and let's just get together and solve it. Right?
Yep.
So that's what they did. We have a new way to figure out who made the playoffs. We have a new way of figuring out how the teams are divvied up in their different regions. Let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Off we go.
Oh, I saw us for a second.
Just
there.
for a second, yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I'll prevent that next time.
Fantastic. So what they do, start of the season, they take all the teams in 11-man and they divide it equally into 7 pots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are the 7 divisions.
Yep.
Previously, they figured out who qualified, and then they just took 32, 32, 32,
Which is
32.
during our football reveal show that night. That's what I was attempting to do, and then I was wrong. So now I get to do that.
Yeah, now we can do it. And these football coaches will know exactly what division they're in.
Yeah.
Right? And
Just like basketball.
just like
and
every
baseball.
sport. Just like
softball.
every other sport.
Yeah.
Performance factor does take into account.
Yep.
So when they split it by in 7, I don't know how many schools that is, right? But the teams that go up means someone will go down. So it'll keep an even number, right? So Stratford and Edgar, you're still moving up.
Yep.
Stratford's going to stay at 5, Edgar's going to 6.
Correct.
Right? What do I have here? All right, so there's going to be, we'll touch on it quickly on the next slide, right? We're not
Okay.
going to bore people with math, right?
All right.
But the top 32 teams with the most points make the playoffs.
Okay.
It's very simple,
Seems easy.
right? In each division. If you are the 33rd best team in Division 1 and your score would have been 15th best in Division 2, too bad.
Yeah.
Right? It is just your division.
Right.
What's interesting is how they assign the teams into the brackets,
Okay.
right? So this is no longer what did you call it? The hand of
Well, the hand of God. Yeah.
The hand of God. You try to separate the number ones as much as you can, the twos, and we have no idea where anyone's going to be. Anybody with a map and with the facts will be able to exactly figure out what the brackets are.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is the top 4 teams in the division, let's say Division 1, the top 4 teams, they are going to go to the corner of the state that is closest to them. So the number 1 team goes to the closest corner of the state.
Yep.
The second best team goes to their corner. And if it's the same as the number 1, then you get the next closest.
Right.
Right? And then 3 and 4.
Yeah, because we've heard from many coaches over the years that we'll travel. We don't
Yeah.
mind getting on a bus and going somewhere if that's what it means to have something that makes some sense. And so here we are.
Yeah. And they do the same for the number 2 seeds, right? So the top number 2 seed, they go to the closest number 1 seed to their school. So you look at a map, be like, these are the 2 closest number 1s, they're closest, we're going that way. Even if it's the best team, if it's the best number 2 and the best number 1, you're going together.
Okay.
We're going to limit travel as much as we can. And then the second best number 2 team, they go to the next closest, and they go all the way down, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way down.
Easy to follow along. Okay.
Yeah, it seems that way. One
All
more
right.
slide.
There we go. See, I changed that. You don't get to see us
like
now
it.
in between.
Well, I was going to wave. Yeah. Because no one can see us.
Not right now.
They have no idea that I'm lifting weights during this right now.
Okay. You promised no math, but here it says at the top math.
Math, yeah. So if your eyes glaze over, that's okay. But I think it is important to understand some of the thought that went into this, right? So we wanted to reward teams that win a lot of games, and especially reward the teams that play against top division teams, right? So every team's score is going to take a look at the teams that you beat, what division they're in, right, when they split it up by 7. They're also going to take a look at your overall strength of schedule. They'll take all the teams that you beat add up all the wins, and then divide it. So it makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's some math. There's some math on it, but everybody's going to have a score. We'll be able to show you every single week what everybody's score is, and there's going to be many media outlets that will be able to do this, right? And
But will they? Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know.
Probably not. But you can count on us.
Probably not.
We will do it.
They also figured out out-of-state opponents, which
Well,
is interesting because it's
yeah.
no longer this mystical 500 record. Whatever the enrollment is for these Minnesota or Illinois schools, whatever it is, they're going to compare it to a Wisconsin school of the same enrollment and figure out what division they'd be in.
I feel sorry for the person over across town here that has to do that work. That is going to be tough. That is
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
mean,
tough.
I don't know how many. I mean, outside of Superior and maybe some border towns, I don't know how much it really happens, but Hudson probably some non-conference games. But again, there's only 2 non-conference games, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is that for forfeits, if you have a forfeit, it doesn't matter in seed scores,
Right.
right? And it doesn't matter for anything besides, I guess, a conference championship. In the past, you got that win. You're like, all right, we're over 500.
Yes, right.
It's going to help us get there.
Right.
It doesn't anymore. So
Yeah.
if you replace that forfeited game with a game against somebody else, that's the only game that counts. Which makes a lot of sense because there were some conferences that lost some teams because they changed the conferences every 2 years. So some of the teams go to 8-man, and you're like, we only got 5 teams in our conference. We get
Right.
2 or 3 forfeit wins, we're going to the playoffs no matter what happens.
Correct.
Right? So I think that there's been a lot of thinking done. I think that the way that it was presented to the football advisory committee and then the board of control did a really good job with it. If you want to read more about it, go to wisports.net. .net.
Yeah, .net. Yep.
You can read all about it. It's a positive change, right? And it takes the guesswork out of everything. And I think going forward, there might be some tweaks down the road. But there's a lot of smart people that got together and say, you know what, we can solve this. And thankfully they did.
Well, I am very thankful that they did. I don't ever presume that they took anybody else's advice, but you begin to think that maybe they did, and I think that that's good.
Yeah, they got it from different states. Like this wasn't a bunch of people drinking beer in a basement with a whiteboard, right? It's taken from where it's already worked in other places. So,
All right,
I'm
fantastic.
excited about what you're looking at here.
Well, I'm always trying to find something. I think of a lot of things before the show. I've been a little bit on the run today. I think of a lot of things before the show, and then other things I'm like, oh, we should talk about that too, and then I forget where I put it.
Why don't we do schedule?
Yeah, well, I will. I know where to find this other thing here real
All
quick
right.
though. So, and the other thing is, it's right here. It's our.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned with sports, and our friend Travis will be on. He and I are doing an interview together. That'll be published on Friday, right here on this channel. And I'll just type Bucks here. That'll help me out. Be published on this channel and all of our social media pages. That coming up again on Friday, probably around noon or so. There we go. Get that worked in there. We'll let's do this. We'll cover me up. You're a little better. You're a little better on the camera than I am.
Sure.
So it's the 2025 Deer District Prep Hoops Showcase, and it is proudly presented right here live on Zaleski Sports in partnership with the Milwaukee Bucks. And we've got some really fun games: Kohler and Lake Mills, Hortonville, Oconomowoc, Racing Park, and Milwaukee Juneau. Those are our top 5 teams right there. Stevens Point and Sun Prairie East. Chris Davis, I believe, leads the state in scoring average this year out of Sun Prairie East. So he has won over 40 a number of times this year.
Yeah, he is averaging in the 30s or upper 30s or something crazy.
Phenomenal talent. Yeah. And Kettle Moraine and Nicolay. It all starts at 10 o'clock. So like I told my group over in the Fox Valley this morning, you might have to skip cereal and cartoons time. And instead watch us. I guess you could still eat your cereal, but watch Hoops at 10 o'clock on Saturday. We're going to have some fun camera angles. We're going to kind of do it up Big Ten style over at the Fiserv Forum. And we look forward to that. That's coming up on Saturday.
Growing up, what was your favorite cereal?
Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity
And
Pebbles.
Captain Crunch was right in there.
I was a Cap'n Crunch kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely loved it. Probably didn't set good precedent for me growing up, eating, eating wise.
Get all the sugar you can find, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, they got a Cap'n right on the cover.
I mean, that sounds like a good thing.
That old sea dog.
He was an old sea dog, wasn't he? Oh, man. Okay, so that's that. And then that kind of leads into our schedule. So we take a look around here. I'm looking for all of our ranked teams. Girls basketball on Thursday. That's tomorrow. Almond Bancroft ranked number 14. Pacelli ranked number 12. You'll likely get your conference winner out of that game.
I think they play twice, almost back to back, like maybe tomorrow and Tuesday or something, because there's a makeup in there.
Okay. I looked and I'm like, you're right. It's Pacelli and Alban on Friday, but that's on the boys' side.
Yeah.
They wouldn't play back-to-back days.
No.
Not yet, anyway. Not unless they were really forced to.
Not unless they had to.
Yeah. You've got a game tomorrow. Number 19, Stratford comes calling in Marathon.
Yeah, Marathon girls still looking for their first big marquee win of the season.
That would be one.
For a team that's 13-3 or 14-3, a fantastic record, but have kind of beaten up on the Sisters of the Poor a little bit, right? A win over Stratford tomorrow night would be a big notch in the cap.
On Friday, you'll get to see boys basketball, the number 4 ranked team in Division 4, right? Or Division 3, Wittenberg-Burnhamwood? 3, thank you. The Chargers, they will go in and likely roll right over Amherst, but still, you get to see the number 4 ranked team in the state. And then boys basketball continues on Friday. Number 16 Loyal, number 18 Columbus Catholics. I mentioned some of those games yesterday. Loyal and Columbus Catholic both a game behind now Owen Withy. So the winner there keeps Owen Withy in sights. The loser there, you kiss your conference championship hopes goodbye.
Yeah.
So that's an important game.
Yep.
Is what I'm trying to say there.
You know, that Clover Belt East Boys Conference is often really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
More
fun in a
fun than
different
the
way
girls.
this year, but
Yeah.
it is still going to
More
be fun.
fun than the girls' side, which Neelsville usually wins by 4 games.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
we'll see you later. Goodbye.
But usually the boys comes down to the last week or so. It's
Good
it's
chance that
usually
it will
pretty
again
good.
this year. I mentioned number 7 Pacelli, number 14 Almond Bancroft on the boys' side. AJ Ligman on the call there.
That's a good game.
Yep, it really is. And number 25 Hudson, number 11 Eau Claire Memorial. Bob Bradovich on the call. Boys basketball on Friday. Yeah, Friday's shaping up to be a good one. It's a boys-girls doubleheader, Oak Creek and Franklin. That action starts 5:30 on Friday, so right after work you turn on the station. Right at
I'm going to be
5:30.
home watching these games.
Okay.
Maybe all at once.
On Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Friday, and then I mentioned all the Saturday games, but number 12, number 2, number 1, number 15, number 3, number 4, big-time matchups on Saturday.
And Spash.
And Spash.
Yeah.
And Spash. Boy, again, I talked about to Conman, whoever in the world that is, about these Valley teams really struggling to get to 50. And you got a guy at Sun Prairie East that can score 50 on his own. I'm wishing that the Panthers get out of that game what they want, because it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, and Spash is playing better. You know, they have Jaden back on the team. They have him playing again, and I think they're still trying to figure it out a little bit. I think expectations were higher than what Spash has performed to this point. But if you're going to play your best basketball at any time, this is the time to do it. And a lot of eyes on these games on Saturday.
Okay. So good luck to everybody on Saturday, including us. We're looking forward to it. Trevor and I are actually.
Good luck to you guys.
Well, I'm telling you, it's a little bit daunting at a big NBA arena like that, and as we described before, the Milwaukee Bucks intentionally, purposefully selecting us due to their confidence in us.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Well, thank you. It adds a little bit of pressure to the whole thing. So Trevor and I are actually.
Don't forget the chords.
Well, Trevor and I are actually doing the setup Friday. The day before at 1 o'clock, which is just like they do it in the big leagues.
Yeah.
And just to make sure everything is good.
So if you have to go to Best Buy, you can go to Best Buy.
We could, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean that sincerely, because Saturday during one of our games, ESPN is coming in to set up for the Bucks broadcast on Sunday. So that's what you do at a big arena. You come in the day before to make sure you get it right.
So is Chris Middleton going to come back to watch the high school games?
I don't know.
'Cause he got traded
shipped
today.
out of town, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Who
did.
to where? I don't know. I don't know much about it. Somebody else. There were 2 Bucks that were
Yeah.
ousted. So the team's being transformed. Tomorrow's the trade deadline. That's what I know.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who are like, oh my gosh, can you believe this? Like the Luka trade, like I know Luka, right? I know Anthony Davis.
You know him, okay?
Well,
I like it.
Like I can pick him out of a lineup, right?
Yeah, I gotcha.
And I could pick Chris Middleton, and like the stars out of lineups. But people are like, what do you think about this trade? I'm like, those are people I've heard of, but I have no idea if they're even good. I don't watch a lot of NBA basketball. I don't like it a whole lot.
Let's see here. I thought again, we don't do NBA around here, so maybe I shouldn't even be messing with this. But we brought it up, so we can end with some information. I know a couple of guys who.
If we needed an NBA corner of some sort, we would have Trevor come in, and
He
he
would,
would hide
right?
his face and read off a paper.
I love it. Yeah, that's a likely scenario, don't you think? He's pretty confident about the NBA, though. Maybe he'd
He
come
likes
right out
it.
and
He's
say
probably really happy Luka went to the Lakers. He's a huge Laker fan.
Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson go to the Wizards for Kyle Kuzma and Patrick Baldwin Jr.
Chris Middleton has to just be upset.
The Wizards,
Washington.
Wiz is no good?
No.
Nobody beats the Wiz.
Nobody beats the Wiz. I have a Merriwood minute for you.
Let's go. Yeah, Dan, wrap us up here.
Yeah, so special edition because, I could talk about standings and power rankings, but they're not really changing. So let's do something a little bit different.
All right.
I am going to give you guys who I think are the all-conference teams for the girls.
Progress with today's Merriwood Minute, presented by Mid-State Technical College.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I have not seen a lot of these girls play. So I did talk to some people that know their stuff and help me with this.
All right.
So start in the north,
Okay.
right? This is who I project to be first team. Maybe I'm completely off base, but probably not. My player of the year, Mattia Eckert,
Ooh, coming out with a big
Phillips.
right swing. Okay.
right? Phillips running away with the conference.
Yeah.
Player of the year is almost always on that first place team,
Tough to pick from somewhere else.
especially if it's a couple game gap in there. Kaylee Heikkinen from Prentice. She actually leads the conference in scoring this year. 23.5 girls basketball. Really good numbers.
All right. Standing up for her Norwegian ancestry. I like it.
Yeah, man, Heikkinen, there's been a lot of them that went through Prentice over the last 2 generations, I
Yep.
would say. Addison Gums from Rib Lake. I saw her play. She's a good ball player. Kendra Timmers, also from Phillips. And Danica Diethelm from Athens.
Okay. I was wondering if a Blue Jay might be on the list,
Yeah.
but there is one.
Second team, I got Jalen Brunel from Shawamigan, sophomore this year.
Hey, way to go, Eagles.
The first team, all seniors in the north.
Okay.
Who I have as first
Yeah.
teams. Emma Talusty, junior from Rib Lake. Bailey Hankey, a senior from Athens, more Blue Jays.
All right.
Sarah Kanak, senior from Phillips. Could have an argument for first team, but I don't really like putting three girls from the same school, especially if it's not like just a blowout type
Well,
situation.
as you're filling out your survey, you're also splitting the vote somewhat
Yeah.
unintentionally sometimes.
Assumption had 4 on the first team last year, but
Yeah.
they went undefeated,
Yeah,
so there's
yeah.
some consideration there.
Right.
And then the last one, Azalea Atkinson, a senior from the Falcons of Abbotsford.
It's also, hole number 5 at Augusta? Azalea?
It is. I
something
don't
like
know if
that.
it's 5, but it's one of the holes in the middle. Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is after you're done.
All right. Merriwood South, right? Player of the year, I went with a senior, and Anna Schooley from Assumption.
Big shot, Anna. We learned it on Monday.
Yeah. Also on the first team, Sarah Shaw. She is the 2-time reigning player of the year in the Merriwood South.
Hard-nosed, hustle player.
I have junior Jordan Jaglinski for Assumption.
Okay.
I think that Jordan has a claim to player of the year, so I think it's going to come down to the coaches which one they choose between.
Hole 13 is Azalea.
Okay.
Okay. I was on the front 9.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Tria Tubbs. Tubbs,
Yeah.
sophomore from Stratford.
Yeah. Tubbs is a powerful basketball player.
Yeah, for sure. And then I figure one of the Auburndale girls has to make it, right? Auburndale's having a fantastic season. They're maybe a game behind Stratford.
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know she's hurt, but I'm going with Lily Belanti,
Okay.
sophomore from Auburndale. Auburndale's all sophomores and freshmen.
Yeah.
Like, future is bright. Like, get your sunglasses because, like, you got to put your hand in front of your face.
Eagle better get its wings flapping figured out too.
Yeah, not a lot of gusto pushing that broom across the floor the night we were there. Are we going back to Auburndale? Because I want some hot dogs.
Yes.
Maybe.
I had 2 hot dogs last night. I admit it, but I was there.
I'm fat.
I know.
Second team, Addie Vollert, senior from Assumption. Miley Helke, junior from Marathon.
You've seen her play quite a few times.
Yeah. Aubrey Pent, sophomore from Newman Catholic.
Okay.
Kind of what Newman has.
Kind of a shining star at Newman. Yeah.
Carly Pankratz,
Okay.
sophomore from Stratford. Maya Katzenberger, sophomore from Auburndale.
Yeah.
I was trying to balance Katzenberger and Belanti. I went with what I did. Then I also have Emma Love. It's a 6-person, but junior from Marathon. She's the heart and soul of the Marathon team this year.
I tell that family Marathon too every time I see them. There's no way that's your real name. You somehow selected that name
Drew
at some
Love.
point because that's not your real
Drew
name.
Love, Emma Love, coming off injury. She broke something in her arm. She's been out for a couple of weeks, but she's back.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see her tomorrow night.
Tough love.
Tough love, yeah. And she's actually the one that came up to me yesterday and said, "Who are you putting in the house? We have some girls asking boys, and we want to do it up." So if you go back and look at the replay of that game, in the background you'll see 30 kids holding up different signs, and they were spelling things behind it. And yeah, that's all Emma Love. So
Okay. Good.
that's good.
Done.
Next week, boys.
Next week, the
A
boys.
little more controversial. There's a lot of different ways that goes. Yeah.
Dan Controversial Ross. That's what he's known. How he's known in Eastern Marathon County.
Well, it's better than what I've heard myself be called.
That's true.
At some of these games.
I found out the other day. We're gonna end here in 10 seconds.
Did you find what you had to find?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. We're all good there. What I learned a couple of days ago is I for some reason I'm a magnet to the stuff that nobody needs to know. It's called trivia, trivial things.
Yeah.
The landmass of Marathon County, and most people probably knew this. I just found this out. The landmass, the square yardage or whatever, however it's all the acres or the hectacres and all these other measurements for landmass, is larger than Rhode Island, the state.
I believe it. It's the biggest county in the state.
Is it really?
Marathon County, yeah.
Well, you and I both live in Marathon County, and we're nowhere near each other. Not really.
Yeah, we're like in different biomes.
Well, different weather.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right.
I'm surprised you're in Marathon County. It must be like just
barely.
Just there, yeah.
Just barely. Yeah. Okay. Last word, Dan Ross.
Yeah.
If you have anything left.
Yeah, check out the brackets. Again, it's $5 a month. If you want to do it just for this month, this is probably the month to do it, especially if you are a big fan or if you're a coach and you need to scout some potential teams. You can take a look at where your team is at on the bracket and say, okay, well, we have this team. We're going to play the winner of this team. We only have a 2-day turnaround. We need to start scouting some of these teams, especially if they're new to you. So go out, check it out. Make sure you get out to some ball games. These seniors don't have a lot of games left.
So it's that time of year.
Yeah, some of the girls' teams have 20 or 21 games played. Like we're almost done.
We had our first, I know I told you last word, but that reminds me, we had our first, maybe not the first, but our first hockey conference champion crowned
Smash
last
Panthers.
night. Yeah, so that's...
Still undefeated, right?
Yep. Hockey brackets come out on Sunday.
Undefeated, untied.
Unblemished.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it. Jason, Dan, see you.